James, the amazing Randi.
And I am, after all, an honest liar.
Words on Amazing Randi.
Oh, sure.
Who is this guy?
I call him less than Amazing Randy. And my old salesman, 1952, my old salesman was with him on College Street. And they were going to Ryerson at the time. And Ron, so they helped him. Randy was in a circus gig as well. He actually led the elephants in the circus in Peterborough one day.
From my carnival days, I literally ran away from home to go to Nova Scotia and join that show. And it was a great experience for me. It was tough. It was very tough. We were rained out. We were chased out by the police. We had all kinds of problems. We had mechanical breakdowns in the middle of the highway. I don't want to get into all of that. That's another book again. Hey, got lots of books.
He was quite a bright guy. They had to help him as a young man. They had to help him because he got very depressed for a time, just discovering that he was like homosexual, and which was pretty unpopular in 1952. Anyway, one day Randy went to a radio station, and like they had soap operas, as they call them, and Randy tried to deny this and tried to tell me, tried to lie, no such thing as soap operas back then, but of course there was. So this was a live soap opera thing on radio in the studio, and he got three of his pals, and Ron was one of them, three of his pals to help him because he broke into the safe that had the answer for this soap opera quiz. So the audience, he got his other pals to be there. He put his hand, so they put all their hands up. You know, I have an answer. So he put his hand up, and he managed to win he got his other pals to go and win the prize with him. He gave them the answers, but he managed to win it himself, and then he cheated them out of their money. So today, wonderful Randy, he goes around and he says, "Oh, I can give you a prize for anybody that can get into my safe." Funny thing, that's how he started his career, stealing the answer out of somebody else's safe. And I've said this before, and gone on. I also worked with Hal Puthoff, the guy that got the $50 million for a remote viewing program, and he told me that they had a standoff with the Less Than Amazing Randy one day, where Randy was trying to put down the Louis Geller, the psychic program in his book Flim Flam. Well, he's the Flim Flam artist because Puthoff got him to admit that there were 28 lies in that book. But and Puthoff told me on subsequent occasions they reprinted the book, but they didn't put any corrections in. And he said he stood there in the hallway with both of them had tape recorders to have a standoff and on this little debate in the hallway. And so anyway, that's Puthoff. And of course he didn't want to let on there was any such thing as remote viewing or psychic thing, which is just garbage. We all know remote viewing works. I actually did a program, two of them successfully myself. So, but I don't have the concentration to do it anymore, maybe. But all you have to do is believe that you can do it, that it is possible, and I got wonderful results from doing that. Now he's been sued before, but they let him off because he's destitute. He'll stand in front of a nice estate down in Florida somewhere. It looks like he owns the place by the mailbox, but he doesn't own anything. And he's also, to my mind, he's a real son of a bitch because he got involved in the false memory syndrome thing, and backing up the fraud Freud, as I call him, fraud Freud, psychiatrist, because he used to say that all these women have penis envy because they think of their fathers in penises. The truth is, when they were little girls, their fathers were putting it to the little girls, and that's the real reason why. And when you get to be 30, the women start to have these memories come back to them, and that was also confirmed by psychiatrist Colin Ross, who right here at Conspiracy Culture. He said that as well.
Yeah, I remember that one.
And he tried, and Less Than Amazing Randy tried to accuse Colin Ross of implanting false memories. So he's a fraud. So he's also works with a CIA asset as well. That he is.
Yeah, there's some movie about his life, I think, in the Hot Dogs Festival this week or whatever.
Well,
or some kind of tribute movie.
All I know is, you know, one-on-one contact, and he tried to tell me, sue me if he say any of this. Well, I have the story about, I still have the living witness, the same age, about 80 years old now, still confirms he doesn't want to admit that he tried to help Randy win the prize for the soap opera way back in 1952.
Yeah,
that's what radio was called, was soap operas. Soap was the big sponsor at the time, but it caught on, and everybody it was so common. So for Less Than Amazing Randy to try and say no such thing as soap, just who does he think he's talking to?
And I had several parts in the Alice Cooper show in various costumes and such, most of which were masked because I didn't really want to be identified as James Randi in the show. And I went backstage after the opening of the show in order to get a prop and change my costume, and I found an angry-looking gentleman in uniform. It turned out to be an RCMP officer, and he asked me what I was doing, and I said, "This is my dressing room. I've got a prop in there I've got to get." And he said, "Oh, no, you don't. We're investigating it." So I was a little puzzled at that. Somebody else came to the door. We got into quite an argument, and I said, "I have to get back on stage in a matter of 2 or 3 minutes, or the show will stop. I have to get my props out of there." Well, they pretty well destroyed the room because they found no narcotics. They said they were there to find narcotics, and they just weren't there. And I must say that I never saw any narcotics used in the Alice Cooper show, and I was part of the action all the way through. The point is that they destroyed the prop room entirely. They really ripped doors off lockers and such. And after that experience, I was wondering, what am I doing staying a Canadian citizen? I don't really know. Well, a couple of other things happened as well, which I won't get into. And I made the decision that I could become an American citizen, and I went through the procedure.
So he's a skeptic guy or whatever.
Well, then he worked with the skeptic guys. Are you kidding? With Schumer and all those guys? Well, they're also, not to put down homosexuals, but they were fellow homosexuals as well. And Randy started a thing called the Psychops. In the Psychops, he got caught on there because they had one astronomer, an honest astronomer, working with them, and he had to quit because he said that these guys are all frauds. The skeptic thing is just crap.
What about the JREP forum or whatever? What's that?
Oh, you mean his website?
Yeah.
Well, on his website, they have a Jewish guy came in and showed me a hidden page on that where they said I was loopy. The Toronto Street News was loopy, and I thought, what are they talking about?
James Randi Educational Foundation is a great source of information on that. You can look us up on the internet. We're right there in great form. And we have done good work, very, very good work over these last many years in order to explain things to people. We turn out learning modules, as a matter of fact, which are freely available to everyone upon demand. And if you read those over, you'll find that maybe you haven't been thinking deeply enough about certain claims of paranormal, occult, and supernatural and healing powers and various things like this. So do look up the literature. We're in there, the James Randi Educational Foundation, JREF. Remember those letters. But please do. We would like to be referred to, and we would like
anybody
to...
said in his lectures, real information.
I had 4 thugs come to the class with a computer and actually approach me on the podium physically. Then all the men in the class, I don't know who was there at that point, maybe 1 or 2 people. I think Victor was there. In fact, I know he was there. And they were going to accost me. They came right up the front to accost me after half an hour of heckling. Constantly and that was on 9/11, you see. So I was heckled for half an hour and then physically threatened. So when all the men in the class got up to go after these 4 and pitch them out, I had to say, this is exactly what they want. They want to be able to say they were assaulted in this class, so this class should be shut down. And that's exactly what they did want. So I said, please don't even approach them, don't even put your hand on their shoulder. And then I said to them, everything you put on the net about me is a lie. You've libeled me on the net. They told me I wasn't part of the university, I had to rent my own room, my CV was all a lie, and they had that on their website. And the person doing that, behind that, was called, I never heard of this guy in my life, the Amazing Randi. Really? I didn't know who the Amazing Randi was, but that's whose website was libeling me. So I had to say to these 4 guys, I said, look, everything you've said about me is a lie. I have the authority to call the campus police and have you escorted out. So you have a choice, you can sit and listen or you can leave. And they left within 10 minutes and everybody cheered. And that's the last I saw of them.
What is your advice for the next coming generations and the potential charlatans that there might be?
Well, watch this film, for one thing. Everybody should see it. And read my books. That's another thing that couldn't hurt. No, just use some common sense, folks. When people are making claims that sound as if they probably aren't true, aren't correct, look into it further. There's lots of literature.
Real information. So that, again, dishonest, subterfuge, CIA disinformation tactics like no tomorrow.
Yeah, they don't like the 9/11 truth.
No, that's right. That's right. That was what was involved. They just can't handle it. So facts are facts. They can't help it.
Exactly, yeah. And check out Toronto Street News and check out conspiracyculture.com.